Welcome to Master Trader's Weekly Trade Review. I'm Dan Gibby, and in this lesson I'm going to show you how we trade FAANG stocks, all with our technical-based approach, but I'm going to focus on one of the many concepts that we apply to find high probability setups, whether for day or swing trading, and it's the concept of relative strength. Let's begin. Every one of these simple red and green candlesticks are bullish setups. They apply to any instrument, they apply on any time frame, and this is the starting point for us to trade stocks or options. The particular stock, Apple Computer, I'm going to be showing you this bullish 1, 2, 3 continuation, but as with all of our setups, price is king, candlestick patterns, just gave you 9 examples, we have many more. That's a starting point. And then we apply the other concepts that make up our total technical approach. Where is that setup in connection with the overall trend? On support and resistance, what do multiple time frames say? Relative strength or weakness, I'm going to explain. Any volume characteristics, what are the broader markets doing? And internals, once I have a compelling setup, on the time frame I'm trading, we calculate position size, enter, and manage in accordance with your trading plan. That's all trading is all about. We're having an approach to buy and sell, I call it inventory, and then manage in between. What does relative strength mean? I like starting, keep it simple, talking to 8-year-old Johnny. Dictionary.com, relative means, okay, it exists. It possesses these characteristics only in comparison to something else. So when somebody tells you, oh, well, that's relative. Okay, relative to what? In trading, our approach of relative strength or weakness, we're comparing it to the broader markets, to the sector, to the market internals, and that gives us valuable information of that particularly compelling pattern of whether it's going to have higher odds of follow through or not. That does not mean, well, 2 things. One, relative strength is not a concept by itself. It's just an additional additive. Number 2, that doesn't always mean, hey, relative strength, let me buy that one. Let me short the relative weakness one. Sometimes we actually do the opposite because it's a better setup with a better reward to risk profile. And we are doing on March 29 an MT Live on relative strength and weakness concepts. Go to mastertrader.com and go to the education tab, sign up for it, and we will have an hour power-packed education. This is the stock I'm going to talk about today with both the pattern and the concept of relative strength. So let's just look at this. I'm going to come back to it, but this is where we entered. But since we're focusing on relative strength and weakness compared to what? The broader markets of the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100. This is the spiders. This is the day that we entered Apple. The S&P 500 is in a wide trading range mess. This gives us nothing. So Apple setup compared to this is the most amazing relative strength. The Qs here were much better because at this particular time, the NASDAQ, semis in particular, have been showing relative strength to the other index ETFs and other sectors. Notice this did gap up the day we entered Apple, but this one's at major resistance. All of this is major resistance. Let's go back to Apple. This one, closing breakout, this one closed above all these other highs, so it doesn't have the resistance that the NASDAQ 100 has. Every one of our daily charts are this simple. The blue is the 20, green 50, red 200, color-coded candlestick, color-coded volume, and we are looking for our price patterns with those other concepts. So I have relative strength. It's been going sideways here for a couple of weeks as the market's been a mess. I have a flat 20-period moving average, which confirms this recent consolidation period. I have a rising 50 period, and I have a closing breakout. A bullish 1, 2, 3 continuation is this right here. It's a wide range bar with an inside bar that stays in the upper third, and you buy over the high of that 2-bar setup. We only buy 1, 2, 3s that come out of consolidation, not far from the 20 period, and have a price void. Price void means look to the left and there's insignificant resistance. Since this was a closing breakout, there is no resistance over here. So the 1, 2, 3 entry was over the higher of these 2 bars. We actually waited for the next day because the broader markets were a little questionable, and this was a closing breakout. So you could have entered this day. We actually entered the following day. This is a closed trade. Every one of our trades in the open and close spreadsheet show the date, the symbol, the stock or option strategy, the technical setup, stop loss, management in between. This is a closing trade. We bought call options on this. Why do we buy call options instead of the stock? For 2 main reasons. One is it's leverage. We only paid $4 for this particular 155 call option, which gives us the right to buy Apple at $150 on or before expiration. And we have limited risk. In the event of a catastrophic gap against us, our maximum loss is $4 a share. If you bought the stock at, just eyeballing here, $156, $7, that's your maximum loss per share. And a third benefit is if we get stopped out, which is under this big fat green bar, then our loss is significantly less than it would be if you were trading the stock. So here's the technical setup. Breakout of a bullish 1, 2, 3 continuation. Bullish 180 breakout on the weekly, which was also one of the criteria I mentioned in our technical concepts called multiple time frame alignment, and we sold into strength. Now, again, the broader markets have been a little iffy, as I showed you on the other 2 charts. If you have multiple contracts, the day we entered, we sold a part of this for $4.90, made about 20% return. The next day, we sold another third. So in 2-day trade, we netted over 27% return on capital. Hope that helped. If you want to receive our advisory letter that has detailed market review, we trade stocks, options, long, short, we trade anything in there, and we teach you along the way. We don't just give blanket trades. Go to mastertrader.com/advisory swing. Take a no-brainer $37 trial for a month. As always, email my partner Greg Capper or me with any questions. Good trading. Look forward to seeing you in the next trade review video.